tropical fish keepers. Welcome to another installment of Aqua Alex Live. I'm your host, fish keeper Aqua Alex Cardinale, coming to you from my fish room right here in Lake Worth, Florida. How are you fish keepers doing today? Hopefully you're doing great and you're coming off the heels of a great weekend. Welcome to my second edition of Tropical Fish Keepers Question and Answer. Today, I will be answering all of your questions, whether they're on freshwater fish or saltwater fish. I will answer your questions. I have knowledge on both freshwater and saltwater, and I look forward to answering your questions tonight. Now, last month I did my first Q&A on Aqua Alex Live, and it was very successful. So I am quite confident that this series, Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Q&A, will be a successful series. And I hope today we have a lot of viewer interaction. So before I begin, I want to thank everybody that is watching this video, whether you're watching it live or you're catching the replay of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and do be sure to leave a like and share this video if you enjoy it. So today I'm going to answer your questions, and hopefully you'll answer my questions as well. I do have a few tropical fish topics that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about my favorite tropical fish keeping YouTubers, and I'll also talk about fish that I don't plan on ever keeping. And then towards the end of the video, I have a very special announcement to make. It's about a brand new series that is coming to that is coming to Aqua Alex Live. I was about to say Aquarium Hobbyist Podcast because I've hosted many aquarium podcasts before, like Aquatic Wetline and Aquarium Hobbyist Podcast, but now I am doing live video podcast, which is awesome. So anyway, the objective of today's video, like every other Fish Keepers Q&A, is to answer your questions. So, do you have tropical fish questions? Post them in the chat or the comments, and I will answer them live. Okay, so post your questions here on the YouTube chat or in the Facebook comments, and I will answer your questions live on the air. So if you have a freshwater or saltwater question, post them in the chats or Facebook comments, and I will answer them live. Now, if you're catching this on the archived replay version, post your comments in the comment section of YouTube, and I will answer your questions on the next episode of Fish Keepers Q&A. So any question that gets asked will be answered, whether it's live or on the replay. Also, from now until October, if you comment a fish keeping question on any of my future videos of Aqua Alex Live, I will answer them in the next Fish Keepers Q&A. So do feel free to ask any tropical fish questions that you have. No question is stupid. I will answer any fish keeping question as long as it's about tropical fish, freshwater, or saltwater. All right, so I, Aqua Alex, am asking tropical fish keepers questions as well. I have 3 questions that I am going to be asking you. The first question I'm asking you is, how did you get into the aquarium hobby? My second question I'm asking you is, what is the next fish species you want to get? And finally, what is your favorite tropical fish food and why? So those are the 3 questions that I am asking you. How did you get into the aquarium hobby? What is the next fish species you want to get? And what is your favorite tropical fish food and why? So I'm going to go ahead and begin answering those questions while I wait for some of your questions to come in and for some of your answers. So how did I get into the aquarium hobby? Well, I've answered this question numerous times before. If you've been following my YouTube channel for some time, my dad was keeping fish way before I was born. So I was born into the aquarium hobby, and I got my first fish tank at 12 years old. So at 12 years old, I began keeping fish, and that's where I am today. What is the next fish species that I personally want to get? Well, I actually have a couple of fish species that I want to get. Thanks to my friend Jeremy Stellhorn, he has a very nice Texas cichlid, and he kind of rekindled my interest for Texas cichlids. So I could see myself getting a Texas cichlid in the very near future. I also want to get a green terror cichlid. I think green terrors are a very, very nice looking cichlid. I really enjoy green terrors. I think that they're one of the best looking South American cichlids. I also want to get a Jack Dempsey cichlid. Jack Dempsey's are one of my personal favorite Central American cichlids. Uh, Semi-aggressive, but not nearly aggressive as other cichlids out there. And also, um, I really, really want to get another pariah. I found my Armada's pariah dead a few days ago, so that was very sad. But hopefully in the future, I will get another Armada's pariah. And last but not least, I would like to get a peacock bass. Now, like I said a few weeks ago, I will be getting a community aquarium going, and I'll be doing hatchet fish and Corydoras in that tank. So what is my favorite tropical fish food that I feed and why? Well, personally, my favorite thing to feed is raw market shrimp and fresh tilapia. I think it's best to feed as close to natural as possible, and freshwater fish do have access to inverts like shrimp and other fish species in the wild as well. However, I do also feed good quality pellets. I recommend omega-1 shrimp pellets, omega-1 cichlid pellets. I also recommend krill. I have some freeze-dried krill that I feed my silver arowanas. And I also have veggie flakes that I feed to my flagtail procholotus. So those are my answers to my three questions. Now I await your answers as well as your questions. Alrighty, so let's check the chat, and I see that my good friend Steve Aquatics is watching. Hello, Steve. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in live, and he has a great first question. His question is, what was your most humorous experience you've ever had while shopping in a fish store or pet store? That's actually a funny question, a good question as well. I do have come to think of it now, I do have a really good story to share, and this one did happen. Now, this is back when I lived in Springfield, Massachusetts. It was a fish store that was called Jane's Tropical Fish, but it is now known as School of Fish, Inc. And I remember my dad and I were buying a silver arowana for our large display tank that we had. I believe it was like a 180-gallon aquarium. Anyway, the silver arowana was in a 75-gallon display tank, and the worker that was catching the arowana didn't know much about silver arowanas, so she didn't know that they are jumpers. So anyway, she caught the arowana, put it in the container cup that they used to put fish in bags, and when she went to bag it, it jumped out and landed on the floor. but she was able to catch it with its hands before it got to the ground, and she ended up putting it in the bag and put oxygen in the bag and got them bagged up. But I thought that was pretty funny because fish store workers should be knowledgeable on all the fish that they are selling. But she was like a nano aquarist to like the small species of fish and things like that. Anyway, that's not where the story ends. After bagging the arowana up and bringing it to the cash register, I went to get some krill for it and some other fish supplies, and she ended up bringing us out. So we paid for the silver arowana and all the stuff that we got, and eventually we were leaving the fish store. However, the owner of the fish store was talking with another customer, and I guess he didn't think that we paid for the arowana or the fish food and supplies that we bought. So he yelled out, "Hey, you got to pay for that," as we were leaving the store. But the employee had told them they already paid their good, so we just left after that. So looking back now, it was a very funny experience, but at the time I was really pissed off because how are you going to accuse me of stealing fish when I paid for them when your employee rang me out? So that was something that I think is funny now, but at the time I was going to boycott the fish store and not go to that store anymore. But I got over it, and I still supported that fish store. So I think that is my most humorous experience that I've had while shopping at a fish store or a pet store. I mean, there's other ones I've seen. Petco employees selling Oscars to guys with 10-gallon tanks, and I know that's funny because Petco employees were telling them that it'll be okay in a 10-gallon for a while. But obviously, I know the truth that Oscars will outgrow a 10-gallon aquarium. So those are my humorous experiences that I've had in a fish store or a pet store. How about you, Steve? I would like to hear about your most humorous experiences that you've had in a fish store or a pet store. So thank you for that great question. And I would like to recommend anyone that is watching live, you can post questions in the chat or the comments, and I will definitely answer them because I love answering your questions. So I did get 2 questions from a subscriber on my YouTube channel who posted on a couple of my Aqua Alex lives. So I'm going to answer his questions on this Fishkeeper Q&A live stream. And these questions come from a YouTuber by the name of Sierra G. His first question is, do you think that a shoal of pink-tailed Celsius can handle my jaguar? Also, red-tailed barracuda or pikes? When it comes to the pink-tailed Celsius, how long do they get and how many can I have in the aquarium? So Sierra is referring to his jaguar as a Jack Dempsey / Jaguar hybrid. I haven't seen it in person, so I'm just going to assume that it is a Jack Dempsey / Jaguar hybrid, or I'll assume that it's a Jaguar cichlid. However, yes, a shoal of pink-tailed Celsius can live with your cichlid. Pink-tailed Celsius are top dwellers, so they're going to swim at the top, and they'll probably be away from your cichlid. The only time that your cichlid will probably come near your pink-tailed Celsius will be when you're feeding pellets or anything that you feed at the top of the aquarium. So yes, a shoal of pink-tailed Celsius can live with your cichlid. Now, depending on how big your aquarium is, that's going to determine how many pink-tailed Celsius you can have in your aquarium. When it comes to how big the pink-tailed Celsius get, they grow to about 8 to 12 inches in length. So if you have like a 6 foot aquarium, you could easily do about 4 in a tank that size. So if you have a big tank, I would say you could do 4. Pink-tailed Chalceus are one of my favorite cherisons, and I look forward to hopefully getting another one in the future. I really like the pink-tailed Chalceus, just like I like the flag-tailed Procelotus. Now, as far as red-tailed Barracuda go, I've never kept them personally, but I really do enjoy red-tailed Barracudas. I think they're a really cool predatory fish. Now, they are a very skittish fish from what I've seen on YouTube. I think your cichlid could stress out a school of red-tail barracuda. So I personally would not recommend red-tailed barracudas with your cichlid. Pikes, if you mean pike cichlids, they could work. Pike cichlid would be able to defend itself. African pike cherison could work as well, as it would swim at the top. So hopefully that answers your question. I really, really appreciate it. I think that was a phenomenal first question. All right. So Steve has a funny experience he wants to share with us. He says, I was buying a rainbow shark in Petco, and by the time I got to the cash register, it had died. I told the cashier it was dead, so then asked me if I wanted it for half price. Laughed out loud. Wow, that cashier must have been stupid. If it was dead, why would he ask you if you wanted it for half price? That's odd. I wonder how it died. If you're since they bagged it up and stuff, they must have been like rough in catching it and rough in bagging it and stuff. So that sucks that it was dead, but at least you didn't have to pay for it. I don't think that's a really funny experience to have. I'm glad you actually asked that question because I thought it was a really good question, and not many people know of the arowana situation that I mentioned a few moments ago. All right, so now I have another question from Sierra G that he asked about his tank. Do you think that by adding large ditherfish could keep the jaguar from beating everyone up, like a flagtail procelotus or a datnoid? Yes, yes, I think ditherfish is a great idea when it comes to aggressive fish, especially aggressive cichlids. Ditherfish bring the cichlid out, and if they're going to show any aggression, it will be to the large schooling ditherfish. And by having ditherfish in your aquarium, you are able to keep other species of fish with that aggressive fish. So my suggestions for large ditherfish would be things like silver dollars. You could do the regular Mentinus argentis, which is the common silver dollar. You could do the red hook silver dollar, which is the Mylius riborapinus, which is, to me, perhaps the best looking of all silver dollars. You could easily do the black bar silver dollars, Mylius strumbaki. But if silver dollars are not your thing, which I'm not sure why they would not be, because they resemble vegan piranhas and they look just like piranhas. They look like the ROMs of piranhas. I think they're great in a cichlid tank. But if silver dollars are not your thing, you could do tinfoil barbs. Tinfoil barbs are great because they're able to defend themselves. If an aggressive cichlid is going after them, sometimes they will nip the fins of that aggressive cichlid. So I like that in a ditherfish. You could also do leporinus, or however you want to pronounce it. They're black and yellow. They come from South America in the same area where the silver dollars are from. Leporinus fasciatus are the black and yellow ones. Then you've got tiger barbs, you've got bala sharks, roseline sharks. So those are all the ditherfish ideas that you can have as a ditherfish. Now, a flagtail Prussian lotus can work in your aquarium if you have algae. They're very fast swimmers, so make sure that you have a lid on your aquarium as well because they can jump if they get stressed out. A datnoid is a good idea. Datnoid is a predatory fish, and if there's ditherfish in the tank with the jaguar, he'll most likely go after the ditherfish first, but a datnoid will be able to defend itself as well. So thank you, Sierra G, for those questions that you asked on my YouTube channel. I think it was amazing that you asked those questions, and don't ever feel like you're overwhelming me with questions on my videos, on my Aqua Alex live videos. I love answering your fish keeping questions. So if anyone is new to my YouTube channel and my fish keeping videos, and if you ever have tropical fish keeping questions, please post them in the comments. I will answer them. I will reply to them, and then I will answer them on my monthly Q&A because I love answering fish keeping questions and I love chatting fish. So my friend Steve has another question, and this one is about my Armada's pariah that died a few days ago. I found him on the floor. He had jumped out. He says, do you have any idea why your fish died yesterday? No, I really don't have any idea. The Armada's pariah was eating very well. He was eating market shrimp and tilapia, and my water parameters are good. But I do have one conclusion that I come to and one assumption that I have. He was very skittish. He was very scared of my Mylosoma silver dollars. And Mylosoma silver dollars are one of the most aggressive type of silver dollars. The silver dollars would chase after him. So I think that is what could have led to him jumping out. Or maybe he saw something that like a bug or something fly above the aquarium. So I really don't have any idea, but I will be getting another pariah, a larger one, maybe this week or next week. We'll have to see. No lid. Yes, I actually do have lids on my aquarium. You have to when you have arowana. So I do have a lid, but there's an opening behind my filter that he got out. He was only like 3 or 4 inches, so he would be able to fit behind there. But my arowanas, which are about 7 to 9 inches, would not be able to. So knock on wood, my arowanas have not jumped out, and I don't think they will. But my pariah was able to, unfortunately. Alrighty. So now I'm going to get to some of the fish topics that I have tonight. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the live chat or in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, don't hesitate. You can still ask your question. I will definitely reply to it, and I'll ask it on our next Q&A, which will be sometime next month. So my first topic is going to be about my favorite fish keeping YouTubers. A lot of people in the past have asked me, do I watch fish keeping YouTubers? The answer to that is not as often as I used to. Years ago, I used to spend hours on YouTube watching aquarium videos and tropical fish. I'm not saying I don't do that anymore. I still do. But most of my time on YouTube is focused on being a YouTube creator and coming up with live streams and video ideas and things like that. And then when I do look at fish videos, it's looking at videos of fish species that I'm going to be getting. So that's where a lot of my videos ideas come from, is by looking at a species of fish on YouTube. But I do still watch YouTubers, fish keeping YouTubers on YouTube. So these are some of my favorite fish keeping YouTubers. The first one, you guys know if you've been following my channel, I've done a couple of interviews with him, is Peyton from PF Fishing. He's one of the younger fish keepers involved in the aquarium hobby. wonderful fish keeper, has a lot of knowledge for someone his age, and I see a lot of myself in him because at his age, when I was his age, I loved fish as well. So I admire his passion, I respect his passion, I love all the aquariums he has, and I love his fish. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night on Aqua Alex Live, at this time, he will be a special guest. So tomorrow is my monthly interview with Peyton from PF Fishing. So he is my first favorite fish keeping YouTuber. Next, we have Paul Cafaro. Now, Paul Cafaro also lives in South Florida. I'm not sure where exactly he lives, but I think he's like a half hour or so away from me. I like his aquariums. I watched him when he first started getting popular, and I always had a lot of respect for him. So Paul Cafaro is another favorite fish keeping YouTuber of mine. Predatory Fins is another favorite fish keeping YouTuber. I like Predatory Fins YouTube channel. They have a lot of great videos. I like to watch the new arrivals that they get. I like to watch their unboxing videos just in case a fish catches my eye that I might want to get in the future. If I like that fish, I'll buy it if it's something I can afford. But yes, I do like Predatory Fins videos. Now, this is a new YouTuber that I came across, Boss Aquatics. He is a boss in the aquarium hobby, and I think he has great content on his YouTube channel. So if you've never heard of Boss Aquatics, go check out his YouTube channel. I think you're going to like it. It's a phenomenal YouTube channel. He has everything from cichlids to monster fish to angelfish and everything in between. So check out Boss Aquatics. And then there is another YouTube channel that I'm kind of new to, but I've been a very special guest on this YouTube channel. And it's known as Big Tank Hank. Now, he interviewed me a couple Fridays ago. So if you haven't seen that interview, go look up Big Tank Hank on YouTube. And I think you're going to like my interview. He's going to be on Aqua Alex Live in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. I cannot wait to interview Big Tank Hank. Also, I like Ohio Fish Rescue. Big Rich Price and Josh Price do amazing things with Ohio Fish Rescue. I interviewed them on Aquatic Wetline and Aquarium Hobbyist podcast. I will have them on in the future here on Aqua Alex Live, so I look forward to that. But for now, I continue to enjoy watching their videos. As a monster fish keeper, I really, really enjoy seeing everything they have put together in their fish rooms. Seeing their monster arowanas, their monster pacu, their monster red-tail cats, arapaima, tiger shovelnose, you name it. I love their monster fish. And last but not least, we have A.C.E Aquatics. I love that channel. I probably got the name wrong, but I think that's how I remember it. And also, Steve's Aquatics. He's kind of new to YouTube. He's a really good, loyal viewer of mine of many years, and I am very appreciative of that. So if you guys would do me a huge favor and check out Steve's Aquatics on YouTube, I think you'll appreciate his aquariums. He has a magnificent Severum and Geophagus and rainbow fish tank, a gorgeous Fiesta cichlid tank, a red terror tank, just some amazing species of fish. And hopefully he will put out some more content. So those are my favorite fish keeping YouTubers. I figured that would be a fun topic to bring to today's Q&A. So now I know not to do Q&As on Mondays because of the NFL season. There's not that many live viewers today, but that's okay because I can answer your questions in the replay. All right, so that brings me to my next topic, which is going to be about fish I myself do not see keeping. These are fish species I don't see myself keeping now or possibly in the future, and I'll tell you why. The first two are flower horns and blood parrots. Now, I don't really like hybrid fish. Not really a big fan of flower horns and blood parrots simply because they're not natural. You will not find a flower horn or a blood parrot in the Amazon or in Central America or Asia or whatever. But if you keep flower horns and you love blood parrots, I'm not going to discriminate you. I like them. They are gorgeous fish, but I would never keep them because I try to keep my tanks as natural as possible. Also, I never see myself keeping live bearers like guppies, platies, or mollies or swordtails. I liked them as a kid, but as a monster fish hobbyist, hell would have to freeze over for me to begin keeping guppies, platies, mollies, swordtails. Um, they are good fish, but I don't want to be a parent of 1,001 guppies, 1,001 mollies, things like that. I would use mollies to cycle a saltwater tank. A lot of people do that. I personally would do that, but I would never keep them in an aquarium for other than that purpose. Also, goldfish. I don't see myself keeping goldfish. Nothing against goldfish. Um, I just don't really like goldfish because they produce a lot of waste, number one. They don't have stomachs, and they're relatively common. Everybody has started the aquarium hobby, it seems like, keeping goldfish. But some of the fancier goldfish, maybe in the future, I'll want to get into fancier goldfish. Notice I did not say koi. I do want to keep koi, and I do want to set up a koi pond eventually. So we will not exclude koi because I do want koi. Uh, I don't know. Now I just realized I opened up a can of worms because there is a species of goldfish that I do like, the Shibunkin goldfish and the redhead goldfish. Those are the only two I could probably keep. Steve agrees with me. He says he doesn't like goldfish either. Um, but there, a lot of people enjoy them, and they're going to be a big part of this hobby for many, many years. Convict cichlids. I don't like convict cichlids. They breed too easily, really aggressive, and there's just so many of them in the aquarium hobby. Nobody knows what to do with them anymore. So I am not a huge fan of convict cichlids. I think that they're just too popular. Everybody gets into them because they're so easy to breed. They breed like rabbits. They're constantly horny fish, and you're going to have thousands of convict babies on your hands. So what I do with convict cichlids, I've got someone that constantly brings me convicts all the time. I just end up giving them to the fish store because I don't want to put them in my tank because they'll probably breed. But if they're like less than an inch, they become food for my arowanas or any of the larger growing fish that I have. It may sound cruel to some people, but that's what a lot of monster fish keepers do with convicts is they use them as um, feeders. And the last three fish are for obvious reasons because they all outgrow the aquarium hobby. They all outgrow pretty much any size aquarium. These three fish I don't see myself keeping. Arapaima, gorgeous fish. Love their red scales. But come on, who has the tank size for a 5 to 6 foot fish? Paraiba catfish, another species of fish I love, the man-eating catfish. But again, who has the tank size for a 5 to 6 foot fish? and Peroon sharks. Another species of fish I like, but they get massive, much more bigger than any iridescent shark. So those are the species of fish I don't see myself keeping in the near future. I mean, if I see a pariah and it needs a home temporarily, then I may get it, and then I'll have to find a bigger home for it. But I will not purposely go out and buy a pariah catfish. So that tends to bring the question, why do fish stores sell pariah catfish in Arapaima? When I lived in Massachusetts, I saw Arapaima at pretty much every exotic fish store. Thank God they're illegal here in Florida, because I think they would be released into the wild and they would thrive here, because our weather in southern Florida is just like the Amazon. That's why there's Oscars and Pacu and red tail cats, tiger shovelnose, and arowana thriving down here in Miami and in the Everglades and West Palm, because we have weather that is just like the Amazon. So now I'm going to bring those topics back to you. Who are your favorite fish keeping YouTubers, and what are some fish you don't see yourself keeping? I would love to hear your answers to that. So, if anyone is just tuning in right now, a reminder, I am answering all of your tropical fish questions. So, feel free to post them in the chat or comments, and I will answer them live. I look forward to answering as many questions as I can. So we have another question from Steve's Aquatics. He says, what do you make of the pond craze going on in the fish keeping community right now? I think it is brilliant. I think it's a great idea. If you're able to afford a large pond and you want to be able to house monster fish responsibly, then go for it. I think it's a great idea. I'm totally behind it. I do think there is a place for monster fish in this hobby that we love so much. But if you can't afford a pond or a large aquarium, you should not be having pacu, arowana, red tails, tiger shovelnose, etc. But if you can afford a pond, and there's lots of people out there now that are getting into ponds, it's a good idea, a good investment. I think ponds are a really fun thing to do. I myself hope in the future that I could get a pond. I think I would really enjoy a pond. In a pond, I would want one red tail, the tiger shovelnose, and some other large growing catfish. I would want pacu and arowanas, and then I would do a separate pond for koi, shabunkin goldfish, and maybe like cold water Chinese hyphen sharks or loaches, things like that. But a lot of the ponds that I see now are either plastic pool pond, which is a cheap idea but a really good idea, or you could actually just buy like a regular pool and turn that into a pond as well. But a lot of people are also using Rubbermaid tubs, like my friend Steve just pointed out in the chat. Those are good ideas as well. However, some of them are not big enough to support a red tail cat for life. I think the biggest tub for Rubbermaid goes up to like 500 gallons. So it would work for a few years, but then you would eventually need to upgrade again. So that was a fantastic question, Steve. I really appreciate that question. So again, if anyone wants to is just tuning in, you can ask any question you want in the live chat or the comments. And if you're catching this in the replay, I'll answer them in the comments. I'll reply to your comment, and I'll also answer your question in next month's Q&A. But this month, I also have 3 questions that I'm asking you. How did you get into the aquarium hobby? What is the next fish species you want to get? And what is your favorite tropical fish food and why? So, I think this was a very fun episode. I really enjoyed it. And I know that next time I will not do a Q&A on a Monday during the NFL football season because a lot of people are probably tuned into it. I'm not, because I'm not a Baltimore Ravens fan or whatever team they're playing. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and my team just won the Super Bowl this year, or this past year, and we won our opener against the Dallas Cowboys. So I could say that my team beat another friend of mine's team. My friend Jeremy Stelhorn is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he was telling me he was rooting for his Cowboys against my Buccaneers, and he was telling me he thought his Cowboys were going to beat my Buccaneers, but my Buccaneers defeated his Cowboys. So a victory for the Buccaneers. Yes, 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 yes. But I look forward to my next Q&A. So right now I'm going to get into the announcement that I've been wanting to tell you guys, and then we'll wrap up this amazing video. So it is announcement time. And I'm really glad that the person that came up with this idea is watching this video. Well, actually, 2 people came up with it, but he was the recent person to bring it back to light. So anyway, I am debuting a new series coming up in October here on Aqua Alex Live on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. Now, the name of the series is going to be Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Roundtable. Now, it's going to have 2 hosts instead of just one. I'm going to be the first host, and my co-host is going to be none other than Steve's Aquatics. Steve is a huge fan of mine, and I could not think of anyone better to be a co-host than Steve. He's going to ask some questions that I'm not going to be able to think of, and I'm going to be able to come up with other questions as well. So it's going to be called Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Roundtable because we are going to have 3 or 4 special fish keeping guests each month. And that's going to start October 15th. I'm aiming for my first episode to be October 15th, which is exactly 1 month from now. And our first topic will be about YouTube fish keepers. So I'm going to invite some YouTube fish keepers on for Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Roundtable starting in October. So like I said, it will be hosted by me, Aqua Alex, and Steve's Aquatics, and each episode will feature 3 or 4 special fish keeping guests each month. I am looking forward to that, and I will have more details to come, and I'll announce who this first special guest will be, but it's going to be very exciting. So the first topic will be YouTube fish keepers. We'll talk about how they became fish keepers, what got them into filming their aquariums and got them into becoming YouTube fish keepers, and stuff like that. So if you have any fish keeping YouTubers you want to see on the debut of Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Roundtable, please email me at alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com, and I will contact that guests you want us to have on the show. I am very much looking forward to this series. I want to thank my loyal audience members, Steve Aquatics and Jeremy Stellhorn, for this great idea. Looking forward to it. And don't forget my major announcement that I made a week or so ago. In March of 2022, I will be celebrating my 8-year YouTube anniversary. And because I'm celebrating my 8-year YouTube anniversary, I am doing 5 giveaways. One of the giveaways is my aquarium hobbyist contest with 3 prizes. The first prize is a $100 gift certificate to tangledupincichlids.com, and we all know they have great fish. He imports wild-caught Central and South American cichlids, cherisons, and much more. And also, I'm going to be giving out another $100 gift certificate to Malone's Monsters, aka Aquatic Rarities, and then Jeremy Stellhorn is going to be giving out some Little Egypt Aquarium Club gift certificates for some aquarium supplies. More details on that in the future. So go check out my major announcement on my YouTube channel, my major announcement video, to learn how you can enter this contest and win one of 5 amazing prizes. So in the October Q&A, I have another special announcement that I'm going to make, but I'm going to save that for next month. So stay tuned for that. That should be a really exciting announcement. Steve has a really good suggestion. Wild fish tanks on YouTube would be a good guest. He's local to you. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to contact him and see if we can get him booked for our first episode of Fish Keepers Roundtable. That should be exciting. So we're going to start off Fish Keepers Roundtable as a monthly series. If it does well, then we'll do it bi-weekly. But for now, we'll try it out on a monthly series. But I think it's going to be a really, really big success. So I'm very happy to share that news with all of you. Alrighty, that is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you watched it live or you're catching the replay, I appreciate your view. So if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends. So thank you for watching, Fish Keepers. I really appreciate your view. Have a great rest of your week. And make sure to join me tomorrow night live at this time as I do my interview with PF Fishing, Peyton from PF Fishing. That's going to be a very exciting interview. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. With that being said, enjoy the aquarium hobby, tank on, and buy some new fish if you haven't already. Buying fish is fun. Just make sure to do your research and have a proper sized aquarium. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the aquarium hobby, and I'll see you on the next installment of Aqua Alex Live.